We are here trying to understand what the market is doing. The way I interpret this is we just got a candle close, which is in bull mode. That just shows us it closed in green with green volume. So buyers won that day. Now, this is a war. Every day you see them fighting in between the bull versus bear kind of scenario. But what is important for us is to understand on a short term, this is what the market is doing. You had a range of consolidation, you broke that to the upside, you came back down, retesting it and put a double bottom and you bounced. Now, yes, as of now on a 4-hour, you didn't put a new high, so you're still trying to put in a new high. Maybe you can still trend in a pattern here, which can show you some level of correction. For sure, you can literally do this, stay inside this pattern, consolidate there and then break higher. Fine. Now, if that happens, yes, BTC is low, but what does that really mean for us who are looking at the altcoins? I'm like, you literally observe all these altcoins fighting against the Bitcoin, right? This is Clay. It just pumped like 30% for the day. Filecoin, it just ran like 29% for the day, making it close to 50% for the week. So there are a lot of different assets which are doing this right now. This was our call for Clay. Now we had detailed updates based on different time zones and all, and we did the trade and we took some profits. Fine. Now it's not only that, we actually see a lot of these assets pumping, but the difference is some of this actually really took kind of a month to materialize. Now if you go look at this, in a week, it actually did 72%. So if you waited for a month and you got your 85%, it's okay. But understand, most of it just came in a week. So the level of patience you needed here was cruel, because if you are waiting for a month and everything is happening in the last week, imagine in between, if you had a negative sentiment and you moved out, you don't get this, right? That is how the market works. And it kind of looks like these coins are starting to take off, which actually gives you an idea that if you know these assets are going to move and their targets at a time when Bitcoin is going to consolidate, you have an edge in the market. Now, why do I say that? We are going to detail the scenarios which I think is going to come soon, because if you're focused on altcoins, this is going to be really important. Look at what the Ether is doing, because usually it actually signals you what the altcoin market as a whole is about to do. And this is really getting interesting from here. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Now, yeah, this is the crypto world. We understand that this is the highest volatility what we're observing. But when you're taking different thought process here on a daily chart, not the short term of a 4-hour or a 2-hour chart, this is a daily chart. You're literally observing that you had this level of consolidation. This was your previous level. You respected that when you came back down. You put in a double bottom just above that. So it kind of shows you how the market reacted to that price level, support, resistance. Then it actually went up. It broke through that level, came back, retested and bounced. And that bounce did materialize. It went above and created a new high. So if you go back on the Bitcoin chart and go look at a daily chart, now things are really easy here. You're looking for the trend and you do get that understanding. Yeah, you had this, which is now broken. You put this level as a support. Now, my drawing is not the best or the most clear, but the information is conveyed, right? That's what is important here. Now, again, my language has a lot of issues, but what I really want you guys to learn from here is not about the English literature. It's about what you're going to see in the market. Because if that helps you to make money, I'm happy. And if you are learning on a regular basis, that's perfect. Now, look at the altcoin market. Ether can give you an idea of what the altcoin market as a whole is about to do. This is kind of a signal which I see in the market that, okay, this has been a trading range for Ether. Since we started moving up, hit this level early Jan. From that time, we are consolidating fine. Right now, we are breaking through that. It is important to note that at the same time, MACD is in the positive zone and it's crossing back to the upside. Now, you can consider two scenarios: when it crossed to the downside and when it is crossing to the upside. You can go back in the history, look like what the price did when it crossed to the downside and to the upside. Now you're here, you crossed to the upside here and the price followed the direction. And that was the bottom range where the market confidence was so low. Afterwards, you got the market correcting to the downside and immediately crossing back to the upside. Now, look at what just happened there. The price moved all the way from 1,100 towards 1,650. Right now, we are observing that the MACD is crossing back to the upside on the positive territory. Now, why is this again important? You go back in history and you see whenever you cross back to the upside on a positive territory, this is where you get a lot of momentum when the MACD is in the positive zone. We have discussed about this a lot of times, so we are not diving deep into that. Now look at the MACD and then jump onto the RSI. Combine those. RSI kind of shows you it was trending inside this pattern. Fine, we were consolidating after the run to the upside. There was a lot of people taking profits, a lot of people trying to short the market, and a lot of people trying to buy more. Fine. Now what do we see here? That range just broke higher. As we know, RSI gives you the idea before it happens. Right now, it shows we are going to break to the upside. And now when you focus on the price side of this, we just did that. Last day we tried, but we failed. Bears won that day. But what happened the next day? As we just got a close and confirmation for that, it's in green, the volume, and the candle just went above and closed this range. Now we did get a wick to the upside here. So what we would like to see is the candle the next day, next 24 hours, going and breaking this level of 17,200. Now, why is that so important? We go again into the altcoin market to see like what the altcoin market as a whole is doing. Now, there's a lot of speculation, but we do understand that the market respects the level of support and resistance. Here is our resistance which we are looking at. So this is one of the primary reasons why I said if Ether is breaking higher, that means altcoin market as a whole is gonna run. Remember, altcoin market has not yet broken that range to the upside. You still have this level of resistance which is standing strong, but the same indicators work here. The MACD is crossing to the upside on the positive territory. The RSI is breaking to the upside on this pattern. This is clear. Now we know that this range is trying to break to the upside, and now you literally go on different indicators, different charts, whatever you want to use, which you think is better for you. Now, Heikin Ashi kind of works for me to get the noise low and get more clarity about the market. So this is the altcoin market. And if you're going to look for gems which are going to run, yeah, you'll have to look at them individually, agree. But if you think the entire market is going to drop, that's not a time when you actually enter into those. You take the profits in between, some of them pops, fine. It's really hard to find them during this time. But when the market, the altcoins as a whole is running, now it's time for you to see a lot of these coins pumping. Some of these are going to do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% a day. And it's going to be a bit difficult to find them on a single asset basis. It's going to be really hard to see these assets pumping. Now we have the charts, we had the calls on Acro, and it already hit our target. We are happy for that. Fine. But the reality of that is you needed a lot of patience for that. Right? It did not move much for some time. You look at this last 7 days, it just moved in last 3 days. So now, if altcoin market is going to pump for the next 24 hours, which the chart suggests, now we are like, okay, where is the level of correction coming in? You want to actually see that. 12-hour chart suggests you the MACD is crossing to the upside. We're just entering. to the positive territory, which is actually interesting for me because at the same time, you do have a pattern which is somewhat similar to a inverse head and shoulder. You get that. So if you break that to the upside, it kind of shows you, there is something evolving in this market. Now, you go into a normal candlestick, you want to see like, is that materializing in the crypto market as a whole? And I would say like, okay, there is a lot of possibility which you cannot completely neglect happening. It shows you that seriously, there is a possibility, right? But within that possibility range, what's of concern if you are an ultra short micro term human being looking at the market, then you may actually see a short term correction coming back to this support level before you bounce off. That is always possible, my friends. So don't say if you are looking at a daily candle, understand we are looking at a pattern which evolved through these days. If you are looking at a weekly candle, understand you are looking for a pattern which is evolving like this. So the number of days which you will take to see the pattern hitting those targets is going to be much longer unless you are on an hourly chart focusing on what the next hour is going to do, right? Now, that's the entire altcoin market. Now, again, we look at XRP, which is being labeled as a security. And I'm like, okay, in my opinion, I think this asset right now is showing a lot of uncertainty because of the market. But we are still inside this pattern. We bounce from this support. So keeping my opinion away, look at what the chart is saying you. The chart shows you that I'm still consolidating inside this bull flag. I have not yet decided whether I'm going to go down or up, but higher odds are that we continue the direction of the impulse, and the direction of impulse is to the upside. So if we get a break to the upside here, most likely we're going to follow to the upside, and XRP is going to follow what the market is going to do. So it's going to be really important to note what Bitcoin as a whole is doing today, because that kind of plays with the emotion of a lot of human beings. So right now when we are looking at this, if Bitcoin is coming back down, testing this level and bouncing, that's completely okay. I think that's a healthy case. Because on a daily, you are getting this cross to the upside. Usually that happens in the market. But remember, you go on different time frame charts to understand what the correction can look like. And it shows you like 12-hour, we crossed to the upside here. Followed by that, we got the correction. So the scenario we explained did happen. But the difference is, it was not on a daily chart. It happened on a 12-hour chart. Fine. Now we are looking at the price action, watching how the volume is evolving, and the volume is actually increasing and it's on the green side of it. So I'm like, okay, something is not looking great for the bears right now because the price is making a pattern which kind of looks like this. So even if you get a retest, I think it's going to attract a lot of buyers. Now, again, you can ask, why is that? This is the primary case. You had this level as a resistance, which was 21,000, close to that, after which the price actually moved to 22,000, then 23,700. Right now, we just put in 25,000. Understand this. A lot of people who are giving you that narrative, we are not going to go higher anyway, may not like this. But the fact that we put in 25,250 cannot be denied. And we are trending to the upside. We are putting in a higher high, higher low. And when we were doing this higher low, go back 3-4 days and look at the video, what we were talking about, right? We made this. We started bouncing. Even before we hit this range and made a higher high, I shared my thought process. If we do this, that's going to be a higher high, higher low, higher high structure, which is trending higher, and you don't really want to go against the trend. One thing which we all say in any different market is that trend is your friend, and you really don't want to go against the trend. So now the question is like, okay, on the long term, do you see the trend changing, or do you think the trend is against you? So that's where a lot of confusion arises. Here, if you focus on the price action, I do believe that it is starting to trend higher, because we made a higher high and a higher low, swing local low and a swing local high, and right now trying to put in another high. So as soon as we get the end for this week, just 2 more days, we'll actually see how this evolves. Now, if you're in a different time horizon, it's 1.5 day for you, but you got the point. If we're going to close above this, it really shows you a new trend is forming. And you look at this, On a weekly, when you got the moving averages crossing to the upside, the price came back down, hit the moving average, and then bounced. So the scenario which we discussed is clear. A lot of people just sell you the idea that if we are getting this cross, we're going up immediately. No, I've been talking in this channel for years that that's not how it actually works. You come back most of the time, test the moving average, and if it's strong, you get a lot of buyers, then you bounce, confirming that trend. So now most of the discussion has been focused on Bitcoin, but you know the reason why it is so. But keep in mind, if Bitcoin consolidates in this area, which is still positive for the Bitcoin holders because it's going to continue higher from there, altcoins are going to be a crazy gainers here because that kind of attracts money away from the Bitcoin because it's consolidating, it's not interesting on the short term, it's not moving much. People tend to move into altcoins which are moving at that time. That's why I usually say, okay, don't chase these green candles. Try to enter there before they burst. Now, it's not easy because sometimes what happens, you enter, they kind of, goes into a frozen point where they don't move for a couple of days and then you move out, that goes up. So if you are patient enough, sometimes a week, sometimes a month, sometimes even longer, that pumps. And when it pumps, that's the day it matters. Maybe just 3 or 4 days in the entire year. But if you manage to be inside that asset during that day, now you made it. Imagine you are in XRP during all these hard days and you exited the market here or here, believing that it's going to go down and then it went to the upside. That's actually a bad thing in the market, right? It kind of erases or reduces your ROI structure. So I believe you learned something from this video, and if you did, please do hit that like and subscribe button. And again, if you have another 3 to 5 minutes more, please do visit this channel of mine. And I'm really happy that, compared to all the other videos, this one is actually getting views, which I think is most of you guys going there because, we really don't have a ton of other viewers or a big YouTube channel than a lot of other social media sites. So I think it's you guys coming here and watching it. I'm really happy for that. So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.